We're going to do a dimensional analysis. What we're going to do is we're going to take a series of conversion. What we're going to change is from one unit to a different unit. And each one of these is a path to get here. So in this case here, we're going from 5 A units to some number of F units. As you can see that there's not a direct path from A to F. So what we have to do is convert A units to B units to C units, then C units to D units, then E units to F units. So there's a path that we're going to go through there. We're going to make a series of ratios, and one ratio is going to cancel out the adjacent ratio's units. So since we're starting out with 5A units, that's the first thing we'll write down. So we'll start out with 5. A. We'll put that over 1. So we start here, just put that over 1. Now over here on our conversions, we can convert A units to B units. So our next ratio will be a combination of A and B. Now where I have 1A over 2B, I could write that ratio like this, or I could write that ratio like this. Since I have my A in the numerator, to cancel out the A units, I need my A in the denominator. So I'm going to use this ratio here. So I'm going to put A in the denominator, and I'm going to put B in the numerator. Okay, so now I go over here. How many A units do I have? I have 1 A unit, so 1 goes here. I look over here, how many B units I have 2 B units, so the 2B goes here. Now if I look over here, I've got my A units in the numerator, I got my A units in the denominator. The units cancel, so this A cancels, this A cancels also. But the 5 and 1 stay there. We're going to need that for the calculation. Alright, now I've just converted A units to B units. So my next step, I'm going to have to convert B units to C units. So I've got 3B equals 4C. I could write that ratio like this, or I could write it like this. Okay, since I have my B units in the numerator, I want my B units in the denominator in this ratio, so I'm going to use this ratio because it has the C units in the numerator and the B units in the denominator. So this is what I'm going to use. So B goes in the denominator, and I'm going to put C in the numerator. Okay, now how many do I have? Over here I got 3B, so over here I'm going to put 3B. Over here I have 4C, so over here I'm going to put 4C. Now, I notice I have my B units in my numerator and my B units in my denominator. My B units cancel. Okay. Now I go to my next ratio. This will be converting C units into D units. So I got 5C equals 6D. I could write that ratio like this, or like this. Okay, since I have my C units in the numerator, I want my C units in the denominator. I'm going to be using this ratio. So I'm going to call this 5C here. And 6D here. Looking at the two ratios, I see I got C units in my numerator, C units in my denominator. The C units cancel. Now I've just converted from A units to B, from B to C, and from C to now D units. Okay, now we're still not finished because we haven't gotten to F yet. So now I got to convert my D units into E units. So my ratio for D units to E units is, I got 7D equals 8E. I could write it like this, or I could write it like this. Since my D units are in the numerator, I want my adjacent ratio to have the D units in the denominator. That means I'm using this ratio. Looking at this, I got D units in the numerator, D units in the denominator. The D units cancel. And now I've converted to E units. Check this out. All right, now I can convert from E to F by using this one. 9E equals 10F. This ratio could be written like 10F over 9E. Or 9E over 10F.
Question.
Yes.
Is the placement just because it's on a slant?
Well, the reason why we have it on a diagonal is if I have a unit in the numerator and a unit in the denominator, I could cancel it out. That's why it's on.
So let's say you want to put 1 on top and 5A on the bottom. Would that still make sense?
If I flip this, it would give you the inverse answer.
Okay.
You don't want to invert that. You always want to start out with your units in the numerator. And then as you progressively work across, you're canceling. The unit you're going to be left with should end up in your numerator in this situation. If you don't, you get the inverse. That's a good question, though. All right, in this case here, we have E units in the numerator. We want E units in the denominator, therefore 10F over 9E is the one we're going to use. So now I'm going to put my E units in the denominator, so I got 9E over 10F. And in this situation, my E units cancel. Now I'm only going to be left with F units. So we converted from A to B, from B to C, from C to D, from D to E, and finally we got to F units. Now the only units that are left are F units, so our answer has to be in F units. Now to solve this, what we're going to do is multiply across. We're going to multiply all the terms in the numerator together, so it's going to be 5 times 2 times 4 times 6 times 8 times 10 divided by, it's going to be 1 times 1, I'm going to get these two here, times 3 times 5 times 7 times 9. And the units will be F units. Then the final step would be multiply this together, get your answer, and divide it by what this answer is. And that's the basic structure for dimensional analysis. What I want to do now is I want to do one actual practical problem. Let's say I have 4 yards and I want to convert it to inches. So what are my conversions are going to be? 1 yard equals 3 feet. 1 foot equals 12 inches. Now in this one here, we only had 2 conversions, so this won't be as long as that previous example. I start out the same way. I'm beginning with 4 yards. Put that over 1 times. I look over here. Do I have anything that ties yard units in with some other unit? Well, I can go from yards to feet. So that's the only direction I can go with these conversions. So I want my yards in my denominator. So yards will go here. We have 1. And my feet has to go in my numerator. So I have 3 feet here. My yards will cancel because I got yards in the numerator and yards in the denominator. So now I've converted yards to feet. Now I got to convert feet to inches. I already have a conversion here. It says 1 foot is 12 inches. So this will be times Okay, since I have my feet, my numerator here, I want my feet and my denominator here, so the units cancel. 1 foot equals 12 inches. Now, this will convert yards to inches. The feet cancel here. This equals, this is going to be 4 times 3 times 12. It's going to be divided by 1 because it's 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. And the answer will be in inches. Now when I multiply these together, I'm going to get, so 4 yards is equal to 144 inches.